hello. Test, test, test. Alright, guys. Ladies, maybe. I don't know. Justin, I'm back. Your next episode of Prime Directive. We're not doing CD collection on this video. I'm going to go over a stack of CDs that I have bought in the past couple weeks, so we'll talk about those. First, we are listening to Dag Nasty. This is their second album, Wig Out at Dinko's. Dag Nasty, of course, was a Washington, D.C. hardcore punk band, very melodic. This is their second album. Came out in 87-ish, something like that. When did this come out? 87, yep. So this is 31 years old. It's their second album. Peter Kortner sang on this. I don't know anything about him. This is the only thing he was on. And he's not a very good vocalist, but I know the material on this better than any other Dag Nasty album. And I've always really liked this. Yosuke from Nuclear War Now Records gave this to me at his house one day because he said it sucked. So, but I like it. So, into the CDs here. So, in one of my first videos, I talked about Avail and how much I like Avail. I have their live album up here somewhere. I got on Discogs and I bought 3 more Avail records that I needed to have, and 2 of them have shown up. 4 AM Friday and Dixie. These came out in... When did these come out? 95-ish, 96-ish? I don't remember. 4 AM Friday is my favorite by far. Now, I've never heard anything past Over the James. I need to get Over the James. I also bought Satiate, but it hasn't arrived yet. I remember when Over the James came out, I really liked it. And then they signed to Fat Records, and they put out a record called One Wrench, which I was like, I never even listened to it. I need to go back and check those out too. But 4 AM Friday, I fucking love. It's just really killer, kind of melodic, kind of harder edged punk rock. They had such a unique sound, and just such great songs. And a little bit of trivia: Eric Larson from Alabama Thunder Pussy and Birds of Prey, who I talked about at length the other day, played drums on this. And I never knew that he was in Avail. That's completely new information to me. And I don't know, was he on this one? Was he on Dixie? Does it even say who is on this record? I don't know. I do not know. There's no lineup listed here. I'll have to look that up. Anyway, 2 Avail CDs. I've listened to them a bunch this week in my car, so I fucking love Avail. Next, we have some more punk rock. Black Flag, It's Damaged. So, I've never been a big Black Flag fan, and this popped up as a you may also like suggestion when I bought those Avail CDs, so I snagged it for a couple dollars. This is Damaged, of course. I mean, just iconic record, came out in 1981. Hardcore punk before there was hardcore punk. I've always loved Minor Threat, and I love the Descendants, and I've loved the Misfits, and they're all these kind of sister bands to Black Flag, but Black Flag never clicked with me. But I love this CD. I've listened to it a few times this week, and I mean, I know a lot of the songs on it already. You can't be into this kind of music for as long as I have been and not learn to know some Black Flag songs. But I think I just waited way too long to get this. I need to go back and just keep investigating more Black Flag and discovering what I like. But so far, I love this. It's essential to have. So next we have a completely different path here. We have the new Portal, Ion. If you know Portal, they're a very experimental, very otherworldly death metal band. They're very cacophonous sounding. They're very dreary and draining sounding. They just come from a fucking deeper, darker place. And this record's their 5th record, and it's just as sick. It's not as accessible sounding as their last one was. This is back to the more kind of just strange, eerie, fucking non-linear sound that Portal has. I feel like the last one was just a little more accessible. Not that that's a bad thing. I love that record. But Ion is fucking great. and I've only listened to it once so far, but I am totally impressed with it and super into it. Mike Seatown has a copy of this on vinyl that he's trading me, so I'm waiting to get that as well. Next, we have the new Necrophobic, Mark of the Necrogram, my bad. I've always been a big fan of Necrophobic's first album, but I never listened to them past that one, and I got into them late, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I had never listened to Necrophobic. I finally checked them out, and I loved their first record, bought it on vinyl. I keep getting told I need to get their second one as well, The Dark Side, but this came out, and it's funny, it popped up also on Amazon as a "you may also like this," and I was just totally blown away by the Necrolord artwork, and so I snagged it, and it's fucking great. Just killer Swedish black death metal. There's a little bit of a dissection sound there. They're not as heavy death metal as they used to be on that first album, but this is just a fucking killer melodic black metal record. I've listened to it a bunch the past couple of weeks, but I really, really fucking like it. So my hat's off to them for putting out such a killer record so late in their career. So that one was a recommended purchase when I bought this one, which I mentioned the other day. This is the new Judas Priest, Firepower. Anyone who's into metal in the past couple of weeks, you have noticed everyone talking about Judas Priest. And Firepower is just fucking awesome. It's definitely the most metal release they've put out since Painkiller. Now, admittedly, I'm not as much of a Judas Priest aficionado as I am someone like Iron Maiden. I love Judas Priest, but out of all their albums, I listen to probably 3 of them more than anything else. My favorite is Screaming for Vengeance. I really, really like Painkiller. Really, really like Defenders of the Faith. But I didn't pay attention when they reformed it all. I didn't listen to Angel of Retribution. I didn't listen to Nostradamus. I take that back. I didn't listen to Nostradamus, but I listened to Angel of Retribution all the way through one day when they were having like a Judas Priest day on Sirius XM radio. And I just never could bring myself to go buy it. I never had it right in front of me saying, hey, pick this up. But then I saw the single, the video for Lightning Strikes, the second song here, when they announced this record, and I was just instantly like, I have to buy that. So I pre-ordered it on Amazon, and it's fucking killer. It's riffy. The band sounds incredible. Rob Halford sounds fucking amazing. And this is someone who's almost 70 years old. I mean, all you guys out there watching this, your grandparents are 70 years old. Older people like me, your parents may be 70 years old. But for someone to sound that fucking amazing at such an advanced age, and they're all getting up there, unless, you know, the original members of the band, but this shit is just fucking awesome. It's a little long. There's 14 tracks here. It could be pared back a little bit. I've heard of some people complaining it's a little boring in places. I don't get that at all. It's just fucking riff after riff after riff. All the songs are real succinct. There's no filler. I think it's fucking killer. Then we have Grandiose Malice. I actually went, one of my bands, we practiced the other day, and we're having a fill-in drummer for our next show, and he had this, and he said, why don't you listen to this? I've got this on a kind of a borrowing format, so I'm going to give it back to him. I haven't opened it yet, but Grandiose Malice is a black death metal band featuring, I believe, a couple of the guys from Black Witchery. So I'm really excited to check this out. Came out on Hell's Headbangers. Next we have Nort. Nort is a funeral doom band, more of a black funeral doom band. This is their new record, Indlit, which I don't know what that means. But I have Nort put out a demo about 15 years ago called Graven. And I fucking love Graven. I've actually got several copies of it on CD for some reason, a couple of different issues. And I lost track of them years ago, and this is their 4th or 5th record, and they play extremely slow, dreary, draining funeral doom with this nasty black metal tinge to it. But it's just dreary, despondent music with just sick, just blood-curdling vocals. Lots of piano, really sparse piano, but just a dreary, dreary record. This is perfect for when it's gloomy and rainy outside. The only kind of strange thing about Nort is the songs don't drag on. Usually this kind of music you have really long songs, 10, 15, 20-minute songs. But his songs tend to last 3 to 5 minutes, and they create a movement and they goes on to the next one. But having jumped in on their new one after having not heard anything in a long, long time, he is right where he's always been. So I need to go back and investigate and get the rest of Nort's stuff. Just one guy named Nort, so it's an eponymous act here. So give him this cool fold-out digipack, 6-panel, but killer record. Alright, I have one record, before I get into the last CD here, I have one record that I've picked up recently. I'm trying to finish out my Burzum vinyl collection. So this is Vislicit Taros. I can't say it as fast as Varg does on his channel. This is the Back on Black pressing that came out many years ago, 2005. So this edition's 12, 13 years old. Buying an original press of this, that takes a fucking week's pay, and that's not going to happen. Simple insert here, the painting, lyrics. It's on black vinyl. I won't show you that. I bought this off a buddy of mine on Facebook who actually lives just a couple towns from me, so it's a local purchase. I got it for a decent price that I'm not. It was no big deal, like 20 bucks. But this record set the standard for Burzum sound, I feel. My favorite one is Philosophim, and we'll get into talking about more Burzum when I get to the CDs, and then I'll do a whole vinyl collection video one day. But I've got everything from Burzum. This is the only full length I was lacking. So we'll talk more about why I like Burzum and how I feel about them as they relate, as Varg relates to black metal. But that's for a whole different video. But one of my favorite black metal bands of all time, as is everybody's. And of course, you may know Varg has his own YouTube channel, and I like Varg. I think he has interesting things to say, so I'll link him in the description below. But Vislicit Taros, Until the Light Takes Us, from Burzum. So, last record. It's not a record. It is a CD, and this is the new Prurient album, Rainbow Mirror. So, Prurient, of course, is a power electronics or noise project from Dominic Furnow, who owns Hospital Productions in New York. Prurient is one of many, many, many projects he has, but this is kind of his longest-running main project. And, of course, this is his new record. This is a 4-CD digipack. This full-length record is about 2.5 hours long, and it is exhaustive to fucking listen to. But holy shit, is it fucking awesome. This record is way more subdued than some of his stuff. Now, and the Prurient discography is just fucking massive. There's no way to get it all. But I've got a couple of the full lengths and a couple of splits and a couple of the EPs and a couple of tapes. And his stuff ranges from just harsh, noise wall, power electronics to more, subdued ambient stuff. And Rainbow Mirror kind of runs the gamut of that. There's not as much harsh noise here, really, at all. All of this Rainbow Mirror sounds just like a really bleak fucking Death Industrial soundtrack to a fake movie. It is definitely very atmospheric. There's lots of textures. There's lots of, bleeps and bloops and soft keys and piano and synthesizer. There's no vocals across any of it, and some people have been kind of put off by the fact that he's not screaming on any of it. But this is also the way Nort, it's perfect draining, raining, dreary, gloomy. When you're having a very gray day, this is the perfect soundtrack for that. The 4 discs, I mean, the songs range, they're mostly in the 10 to 15 minute range. It's very long movements. That's why it feels like a score more than an album. But if you like that kind of just atmospheric, moody, ambient music with a kind of a harsher edge to it, Prurient is definitely up your alley. So if you like this, let's talk about it. So that's it for the new stuff. I've got more shit coming. I'm always buying shit, much to the chagrin of my wife, but that's the life, isn't it, guys? I've been listening to today at work. I had to do a bunch of office work, so I sat in my office and I listened to the Descendants and All for all morning. That was it, just all Descendants and All. I found a couple of comps on YouTube of just rare Descendants stuff. And did you know that there's a version, and I don't know how legit it is, but it's the Everything Sucks album with Chad Price singing. Apparently they rehearsed it as an All record with him singing in case Milo didn't come back and sing on it, but of course Milo did. And Everything Sucks is my favorite Descendants record, so it's really weird hearing Chad sing on it. But tell me what you think of that if you like the Descendants and All. We'll talk about it. So keep watching, keep commenting, keep talking in the comments. I love talking about the records. If you get put off by something I say, let me know. I want to apologize. I said the other day that if you didn't like something, get over it, and someone took offense to that. I don't mean it that way. I'm just being kind of a smart ass, but that's who I am. I don't agree with the politics of everything I listen to, and we'll get into that more as we talk about my CD collection, my record collection. But I'm not here to fucking make anybody mad or upset anybody, so it's just music. Let's talk about it. So let's keep it going. Talk to you guys later.